Kansas as the preseason number one and the team that I legitimately thought was outside of Duke, I thought Kansas was the best team. I I don't know what's going on. It's so mind-boggling, and Bill Self is way too good of a coach for me to
Yeah.
even, start to think that it's, "Uh-oh, he's lost it." I hate to say it, but what we've seen out of Kansas since Hunter Dickinson has got there, which I thought Hunter Dickinson was going to take them to the next level, which is crazy for Kansas, but he's almost kind of been a bit of an anchor for this team, unfortunately, and not in a good way as you would describe a center, unfortunately. But I will say this: they're still a very talented team, and if they get in, eight, 7, 8, 9, I would not want to be a 1 or a 2. That has to deal with that if they get through their
Right.
first game. So that's something else to keep in mind where this is probably one of the lowest stock prices you'll ever see from Kansas. Who knows? Might be a time to buy the dip, but again, we got to see going forward if this team can really right the ship. But it was very difficult. And then one final thing, I was very, very impressed. A nice little segue into our next topic. Duke, Illinois was a game that we kind of talked about a little bit as the upcoming games to keep an eye on. And Duke handed Illinois their worst loss in school history, I believe. Technically, it was at a neutral court, kind of a weird time for a just a big non-conference game to be going on, but did want to shout out what Duke did, unfortunately, and that does lead us into our next topic, kind of a little tongue-in-cheek, little discussion here. I saw it on I don't know, some other talking head podcast, so I figured why not us get a bite at the apple. And it was the question essentially was you get Duke and Auburn versus the field in the tournament. Who do you got? Essentially, I mean, we've seen Duke Auburn 1-2 essentially, at least for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but really been the best two teams all season. So, Raider Jim, I'll give you the first bite at this apple. Duke and Auburn versus the field.
Duke and Auburn versus the field. Who do I have? I have Houston. No, just kidding. Just
Wow. So easy.
I would give the nod to Duke at this point. I know Auburn's kind of just on autopilot right now. They're taking care of business, but I think Duke has got that momentum going. And I like momentum building behind a team as we get into March Madness. And wow, let's see what happens. But really, I think Duke's definitely at this point, unless something dramatic happens, they're going to be one of the top seeds. I would just have to see how they line them up. But I like Duke.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that Duke is the best team in the country. It pains me to say it. I'm a hater, I'll say it. You're either a Duke fan or a Duke hater. There's not too many people who are, on the fence about the Blue Devils, even with their kind of recent out of the news or at least out of the success spotlight. Anyways, but Cooper Flagg, I mean, goodness, if you have not gotten an opportunity to see, better watch him now before he goes to the next level because he's probably going to be the number one pick. He is one of the most talented freshmen I've ever seen at 18 years old. It's absolutely incredible to see what he's doing. The ACC is down. It's not the ACC of, the late 90s, early 2000s. I get that. However, Duke, I believe, top to bottom, is built to go deep into the tournament. And I think John Scheyer is the right guy for that job. He has kind of quietly shut everyone up. Again, Duke has, and we'll see. I mean, Duke's been successful in the regular season. A lot of, I think, the gripe with Scheyer has maybe been in the tournament. So he could very well be in this same position. I personally don't think so. I think the talent on this team is overflowing. And I think when you do get into the tournament, what we've seen, especially with UConn, is at the end of the day, a lot of the times the talent does win out. You did bring up Houston, though, and Houston is the other team that definitely jumps out as, I mean, I feel like the last 2 or 3 years, and I believe it's still Kelvin Sampson. I believe he's still running it down there. But the last 2 or 3 years, Houston has been that team that you're like, you don't want to play them, you don't want to play them, and then for whatever reason, they're out in the second round or the Sweet 16. I really do think this year they could take that extra step forward. And another reason why I'd like to give Duke and Houston and some of these other teams the nod over Auburn is what I mentioned last week. I really do think the SEC, that grind, that gauntlet is really going to wear this team down. I mean, Auburn's playing fantastic basketball right now, but really in the grand scheme of things, these games don't matter. I think we all imagine Auburn is a 1 seed. But in 3 weeks, one bad night and it could all come crumbling down. You just wonder if that gauntlet kind of catches up to them in March. Just because that SEC is so competitive and so good. But it's gonna be fun. I think gun to my head, Duke and Auburn versus the field. I'd probably take Duke. I think talent is going to win out 9 times out of 10, and I think Duke has the most of it. So